Good morning, friends, and I'm Richard, and let's have a cup of coffee on this cold Thursday morning. But today, let me share to you briefly about the gospel taken from Matthew 24, verses 42 to 51, talking about that no one knows the day and hour that the Lord will come. And in the latter part of this reading is that about the faithful or unfaithful servant. But the lines that I'd like to highlight here is on verses 42 and 44 saying, "Watch out then, because you do not know what the day your Lord will come. So then you also must always be ready, because the Son of Man will come at an hour when you are not expecting him." No one knows a thief or when a thief will come at our respective houses. If we know, then I guess it's a pre-arranged stealing. But the point or the reminder for us today, friends, is that we are asked, being reminded to stay awake, to be vigilant, to be watchful, to be attentive, not so much on the signs of our times, but more on how are we preparing ourselves, how are we becoming vigilant, being attentive in the things that we do, as a form of preparing ourselves to the Lord's coming. And that will entail faithfulness, whether big or small. I remember one of my leaders, I asked him, well, how were you able to remain faithful in your calling? And he asked, in one of his prayer time, the Lord answered him, "Be faithful to me today, tomorrow, and the next day." Being prepared, friends, is that we just need to be faithful in the things that we do. Being mindful, being constant. And sometimes it's disheartening sometimes because we are not perfect. We often fail ourselves and others. We fall. But faithfulness, the way I see it, is that it's more on also how are we going to rise up every time we fall. How we rise up. Because we will fail. Eventually, sometimes we are so very mindful already of the things that we do, but then consciously or unconsciously, we fail. But then faithfulness will entail us. How are we going to stand up? How are we going to continue to keep on in this calling? So friends, let's help ourselves. Let's help one another to prepare ourselves to the Lord's coming, because we do not know. And the Lord is reminding us today, just stand firm. Stay faithful to me today. You'll fail. My grace is sufficient for you. Live by it. I will be there to help you stand firm, to help you to be faithful, because your faithfulness is also a grace that comes from me. To end, friends, allow me to end it based on Paul's letter in 1 Corinthians 1, 8 and 9, saying, "He will also keep you firm to the end, so that you will be faultless on the day of our Lord Jesus Christ." God is to be trusted, the God who called you to have fellowship with His Son, Jesus Christ, our Lord. Friends, my prayers for you today is that may the grace of the Lord will continue to flow upon you. May you have a great day. God bless.